Oh shit, baby! I don't even got my lights on. Nothing. Oh yeah, yeah. What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin. And where do all fights start?
Round one.
You know it. That's what's up. Thank you for tuning in to another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I'm always your host, Edwin. Um, we did. I announced that we did hit our our um, our mark of 4,000 subscribers. So I want to thank each and every one of you for subscribing to the channel, and I encourage you to be a Round One Sports Talk member. We have a lot to talk about. I have a special guest coming on tonight about 6:30 or so. Keith Cologne's going to be stopping by. He's going to be talking about boxing with us. We're going to be talking to the young man. Um, very promising future. Very promising future. 7 up, 7 down, 100% knockout ratio. You can't ask for a better start. You know what I mean? So he's going to come on in a little bit. I'm going to talk about a little bit with Terence Crawford, see where you guys are, with this fight. And, you know, I, 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 I talked about this when I went out to New York and I went out. What's up? Rest in peace, Torres. Yo, we gonna bring him back. You know what I mean? We're gonna bring him back. The helicopter took him out. Yo, when I was in New York City watching the Edgar Berlanga fight card, right? I couldn't help but notice when I saw Terence Crawford in attendance when he was in the back going back to give Shakur Stevenson like the final words or whatever. Turkey Al-Sheet was sitting right there and Terence Crawford was sitting right next to him. When Terence stood up and I saw his back, the size of him, I was like, damn. I was like, hold up. And he was wearing uh a button-up shirt, like those crocodile ones, but it was different. I think it was like Versace or some shit or Gucci or whatever it was, right? And I saw it because the shirt wasn't thick, is what I want to say. It was a thin shirt. And I'm a nice sized dude. And I looked at him and I was like, wow, he's pretty big. From coming up from 147 pounds, really technically Terence Crawford started his career at 135, 135 pounds, right? So he starts off his career at 135, and he's soon to be entering the 168. It's a pretty big leap. He has 4 divisions. So he got I think he got wait 1 second, guys. Let me just double check this. Was it 135 he started his career or 130? I just want to check because I don't think he got a belt at 130. Terence Crawford had the WBA. They're not going to show the WBA. Yeah, they're not going to show the WBA, but we could probably find out. I hate these stats, man, sometimes because when they take things out, it messes things up. But Terence Crawford, right? So he started his career at 137 for the 135. So he won the belt at 135. He won a belt at 135. He won a belt at 140. He unified at 147. He unified at 140, 147, and one belt at 135. That's 3 weight divisions. And then the belt that he won against Israel Madachek right there, that's the 4th weight division. That's how it went. So he's moving up to 168 right now. And when I saw how big he was, the question I want to ask you guys, um, do you really think that he's going to adjust to this weight? Or was Terence Crawford naturally that big and he was cutting weight this whole time? Meaning, he was so disciplined to his craft, he would have never known if he could have blown up to that big because he was training himself to stay around the weights he was fighting in. So basically, he was staying, under condition, you know what I mean, underweight from what he was, should have been walking around, like his normal walk around weight. Terence didn't blow up in between fights. So to see him that big, I started wondering. I said, is that the same mistake that the Charlo twin made? Remember the Charlo twin, the little one? He blew up. He was thick. When he got in the room with Saul, he was like round. His physique was round. His arms were round. His everything was round. He didn't look muscular, nothing. Not like he usually does, like the Lions. No, he didn't look like that. So I'm watching Saul and I'm watching Terence Crawford, and I'm saying to myself, Terence Crawford seems to be, or his body seems to be putting on the weight pretty freaking good. He doesn't look too bad where, it actually looks like muscle. It's starting to look like, at one point, he looked like he just bulked up. His face got big and he was looking like he was getting fat, right? Then a few months later, I saw a clip of him, and now it looks like he's toning everything together. Now, whether or not he could sustain this, sustain the level of the level of the performance how he used to fight at 147, 140. That's the Terence Crawford that we know and love. The one that fought at 140 and 147, that's the guy that we know. When's the last time you saw Terence Crawford get into the ring? Was that Terence Crawford against Israel? Was that Terence Crawford's one of his best performances? I don't think so. I think it was a good performance. I think he might have respected homeboy a little too much. I think Virgil showed him no respect. But at the same time, these are some of the things that concerns me. Because, okay, he beats Errol Spence Jr., then he goes up one weight division, no more knockouts. No more knockout? He didn't knock Ismail out? No. And then that doesn't mean he doesn't have power. When I sit back and I think about it, and I'm saying to myself, just because he didn't knock out Israel, does that mean that Terence Crawford can't crack? No, it just means that he didn't catch him flush. It means that Israel was on his P's and Q's, and he wasn't really willing to take a chance. When he fought Ortiz, he was doing things that he shouldn't have been doing. Salute, Richard. He shouldn't have been doing some of those things. So, honestly, look, man, I'm concerned for Terence Crawford. I'm a bit worried about him. I think that he should have never took this fight right here. I think that he had other options that were in front of him. I think that he also could have unified all 4 belts at 154. had he chose to stay there. He had his foot on Sebastian Fundora's neck. He should have never let him go. He had all the organizations backing Terence Crawford up, and they were about to strip Sebastian Fundora. They were like this close from stripping Sebastian Fundora or fight Terence Crawford. He got the extension because of the injuries he suffered in the fight with Tim Tszyu, but we all know he didn't want to fight Terence. Terence had the ability to put a lot of pressure on these guys at 154. He could have did it. And I think it would have been, he had a higher probability of successfully unifying all 4 belts at 154. But the road was harder, but in a strange way, easier for Saul Canelo Alvarez. Why do I say harder and easier? Okay. Harder because the man you got to beat versus all the guys at 154. Easier because it's only one guy you got to beat. You don't have to beat all 4 guys at 154 to get all 4 belts. It's easier to beat one guy and get all 4. But the task is to beat that guy. That's going to be a big one. Me knowing everything about Saul, the way he moves, the way he functions, the way Oscar De La Hoya basically made him. They never fought fights after a certain point. They never fought fights where Saul was really threatened to lose. He was just better than those type of guys. And they really kept him away from a certain style of fighter. Not all American fighters fight the same, right? But they kept them away from a certain American slick style of fighting. They didn't put them in against like the best America had to offer. No. So that's why I'm concerned. I'm concerned that Terence Crawford, Saul took this fight. You know, he was ducking the David DeMonte Benavidez fight. He was accused of, taking these less fights. And all of a sudden, Terence Crawford asks to fight him. He says yes. And the world thinks that Terence Crawford can beat him. Some people, including myself, wishful thinking, right? And plus, I'm going with Terence. But the thing is that I don't think that Saul and his team are stupid, man. He would have never took. I'm trying to tell you, if Terence Crawford was really the next Floyd Mayweather, Saul wouldn't have signed up for that fight. He wouldn't have signed up to fight him. The only way Saul Canelo Alvarez fought Floyd Mayweather in the beginning, 1, he was undefeated. He didn't know how to lose. 2, he was young as fuck. And 3, Mayweather was old as hell, 36 years old. It's not really old, but in boxing world it is, right? So he had to have all these factors. And he learned a valuable lesson. I'm trying to tell you, if Saul thought for 1 second that Terence Crawford was really the next Floyd Mayweather and that he was at, the level of skill that a Floyd would be at, Saul would have never took this fight. What Saul saw was, and his team, they said, oh, Terence is slowing down. He doesn't switch from righty to lefty like he used to. It's either he's starting lefty or starting righty now. Before, he would come out righty and right in front of you switch, and you wouldn't even freaking notice it. He was like, nice. So Saul's camp is banking on the fact that Terence might have lost a step. Yeah, that's what they're banking on. And he's older. Saul doesn't take a fight he can't win. Don't you see that Saul didn't sacrifice shit? Saul's fighting in his natural weight division where he's comfortable, where he's the unified, undisputed world champion. And Terence is the one that got to come up. So it's not like Saul is giving Terence a fair shake. He's making Terence Crawford tackle on too much so that it is what it is. It was just too much. It was just too much. I think that Terence Crawford's going to have success in this fight. I think he's going to have success. He's going to have his moments. I think Saul will have his moments, but Saul's patience and placement punching, Saul's real good placing punches. When you're like gonna come out the guard and he has you timed, Berlanga went to come out the guard to swing. He didn't even get his hands like from here to here. He was already out on the floor. Jaime Munguia, the same thing. You know, Canelo knows what he's doing. He's a very intelligent fighter, but that's not his gift. Canelo Alvarez's gift is not boxing. He's a pretty decent boxer, but that's not what makes him great. What makes Canelo Alvarez great is that iron chin that he has and that power. That's what makes him great. A lot of fighters talked about it. They were reluctant to get hit again by him. They said, "Damn, that shit hurts." That's why Saul is who he is. Those are his gifts. He got an iron chin and he got good power, like really good power. I hear from a lot of guys and the guys that admit it, like, yo, how did Saul hit? Sometimes guys don't want to admit it. But from what I scoured on the internet and shit, a lot of guys respect his power. And Triple G is in my list. I'm always gonna view him as a real knockout artist. Triple G. Triple G, if he catches you sideways, like you standing side and hits you, he's gonna knock you out. You know what I'm saying? So all right, my man, we got our guest in the building. I want you to give him a warm welcome to Keith Cologne. Oh, I gotta get this, learn how to work this. Wait up, my man. Let's put him up here side by side. Here we go. What's up, Keith Cologne? How you doing, brother?
What's
Good to
going
see
on?
you,
Everything's good. Likewise.
man. I haven't seen you in a little while, but I got to catch your last fight. Very impressive, young man. Good power shot. I gotta tell you.
Thank
A
you.
lot of people sent to tagged me in it, and all they kept sending me was a clip of the shot. Pow, 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 like over and over. It was like every clip where everybody sent me. And I was like, yeah, man. So look, before we get on to that, I get ahead of myself. Please introduce yourself to the show. Let everybody know who you are.
Yeah, I'm Keith Cologne, 7-0, 7 knockouts, professional boxer out of Newark, New Jersey. Rising prospect in the sport.
That's what's up. Um, uh, Keith, there's a lot of things I want to ask you, and I want to talk about where your future lies. But before we get into that, I want to talk to you about a little bit of the things that have been going on in boxing. I just want to see your opinion on some of these things, and I would like you to be honest. Uh, Jake Paul Tank Davis fight, is it or is it not good for boxing? What do you think about that fight?
It's an exhibition, so you know, I feel as though a lot of people criticizing the fight because they want to tank the fight Lamont Roach. I get it. At the end of the day, though, Jake Paul, he's an entertainer, so he does like antics like these, fight like this. He had fights with pretty much everybody. His brother fought Floyd Mayweather, so I feel like he's trying to bring entertainment back to the sport, and this is like one of the ways by doing it. It's just like doing the unthinkable. As far as Tank, I feel like people criticizing him because he was supposed to fight Lamont, but it's a big payday, so like I understand all perspectives.
Hmm. Well, the reason why I ask you that is like because I see you coming up the rankings and I see what you're doing. And if there was ever a situation where that the number one contender was at Tank's division, and all of a sudden Tank Davis opts in the middle of his career to fight a gimme fight, how does that make the number one contender feel? Is he okay with them doing a gimme fight and you gave all these years and everything and you get up there, and that's how I view it. Like, does everybody like this? Do everybody sees this as good for boxing? And I think in a way it is. I think it is good. It does bring eyes, but very controversial for me. Um, because of Tank's situation. But I just wanted to see what you thought about that and where we're going in this in boxing. So Keith, um, this performance that you had, apparently, from what I'm looking up right now, um, already you got people shook. There was a guy that apparently I want to say no names, a 7-2 guy that avoided you. That was supposed to be your next fight, apparently. But
Yeah.
already early in your career, you're already getting avoided. How do you feel about that?
It comes with the sport. It comes with the territory. You know, I know a lot of people in the sport don't like to lose, and any loss is like a turn could be a turning point for them in their career. So I,
Mm,
I understand it. At the same time, I don't dwell on it. Next opponent, next best opponent, whoever they able to find. So I don't really dwell on it. I let the that side of the boxing take care of itself, and whoever is up next. That's who I'm focused on. I'm not going dwell on who's not fighting me, who don't want to fight me. Because I can't control it. So yeah, I'm just focused
mm.
on whoever's next.
Well, you know, that's the thing in boxing, whoever's next, sometimes uh trying to find these opponents and get these fights made. Boxing is like you said, it comes with the territory. The other person has the right to say no, and the
Right.
frustration can be build in this. But you're coming along very well. I'm interested to know, so far, I can't ask you if any of these fights have been tough because it seems like you're dispatching these guys so damn fast. I can't ask for a better start for you.
Thanks.
I know right now that you're fairly young in your career. In a good world, is there anybody in particular? I know that you just said that, whatever comes, but is there anybody you see that you think that can get you to that next level, or maybe potentially cracking? Because I was looking on your ranking, you're ranked 34th for the Americans out of 172 ranked fighters in your weight division at 126, which is a very good weight division, by the way. Um, I, you know, I'm going a little fast here because I really want to see more of you, and I really want to
Yeah.
see you go up and fight some of these guys. But um, you know, uh, talk to me about your plans in the future and where do you see yourself like in the next few years?
Yeah. No, definitely the plans. These next couple, like 1 or 2 years is getting closer to the number one spot, getting closer to the title shots, breaking the contender status. Those are my goals for the next 1 or 2 years, and then to eventually become champion. That's the
Mm,
ultimate goal, and then
right,
to defend. As once you become champion, is not the job not done. Now you gotta defend. So
correct.
that's what we're looking forward to do.
Which brings me to my next question. Uh, So I see that the goal is to become champion. Do you value the belts, and do you think that the belts do matter in boxing?
It depends. A lot of times, to stamp yourself in the boxing world, you do have to become champion. That's like a great accolade. It's a great accomplishment. Not too many people, can say that they are a world champion. Um,
Right.
However, depending on who you are, it gets to a certain point, where the belts kind of don't matter anymore. Once you become that guy in a sport, um,
Correct.
everybody want to fight you. Kind of like how Tank is. Everybody want to fight him.
Hmm.
Whether it's for a belt or it's not for a belt. Um, However, to get close to that, a lot of the fighters have to at least be a champion or at least
Right.
be one, two, top five, top 10, or even be a big name just like him. So it does matter to a certain extent. But it also depends on who you are. If you're a person that pursue legacy, then I
Right.
say, the belts do
Right.
matter. If you're a person um that's just pursuing great fights and having a
Mhm.
great career, then it probably don't matter. It just depends.
Right. Right. I I've looked throughout my travels in life. I've watched different job types, doctors, lawyers, and some job titles. You leave a piece of your soul in your job. That's what you have to give to do certain kinds of jobs. I feel as though if you're giving a piece of your life, you're actually going in there and punching yourself in, that you should be remembered for that. You know what I mean? So
Right,
I go with legacy, because if I had a choice to do it all over, I would want my name to live on forever.
right.
For as long as they got that Hall of Fame, people 100 years from now can pay tickets and read my name. And I respect fighters like Ryan Garcia. I truly respect him. I think he's a great talent, but I don't think he's going to go in the Hall of Fame. And it's going to be a damn shame in 10 years. Nobody's going to know his name. He can get all the bag he wants. He can get all the money you want. Yeah, Ryan, get in line, buy a ticket for you and all your friends. But I'll tell you what you won't see in there, your name on the wall.
Right.
And if I'm going to give a piece of my soul to something, at least at the end, I want to be remembered. And that's just
Yeah,
a piece of advice I give to you, in this sport, because this is a brutal sport, my man. You know what I mean? I've seen
right.
a lot of champions after being world champions opening doors at hotels, broke, not
Mhm.
managing themselves well, never, saying enough is enough and putting their foot down and stuff. So these are a lot of the pitfalls that young fighters, if I have the opportunity, I will talk to them about it, but it's truly up to you. And you know, in this boxing world, Turkey Al Sheik is putting together some big cards right now. And I was wondering, is there any possibility where that you could get on some of these big cards? And is it a possibility where that you're looking to try to get on a big card?
Yeah, for sure. You're looking to get on, any card, that's on the big stage. It's great for publicity. It's gonna be great for my career.
Hmm.
It's gonna be great for my team as well, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be easier to push me out there because more eyes gonna be on me. So
Right,
that's always a positive thing. Um, Me and my team, we are looking to get on. Well, we in talks for the Canelo card September 13th.
right,
So right now, the whole business aspect and behind the scenes things is
right,
going on now. But
right.
yeah,
Yo, I hope you get on that card right there. That'll be a real big stage. There's gonna be a
thank
lot
you.
of eyes on that right there, and hopefully, you guys lock that in.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. That now that would be a good card right there. The Vargas brothers are on that card, I believe, too, as well. And I wanted to check them out, but me, I'm gonna watch the fight, but I'm gonna watch it from home. Um, and I like to fight the next day. Naoya the Monster Inoue.
oh, he fight the
Uh,
next day.
yes,
Okay.
the very next day he fights MJ in
Oh, okay,
Japan at like
okay.
6 in the morning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I like the way he fights. I think he's an amazing fighter. I think he's probably the best fighter we have right now. And I just like his character. I like his character in and out of the ring. I don't see him on social media beating up his wife. I don't see him crashing his car. I don't see him drunk anywhere. I see him acting like a real champion. And when a kid looks up, I tell them, look at a man like that and mirror him. Those are the kind of boxers and kind of men that I would refer people to. And as you get older and bigger in the sport, kids are gonna look up to you. You know what I mean? And what are the kind of the examples you want to set for the kids that are looking up to you today and that are thinking about getting into boxing? What would you say to them?
Just keep working hard. Get around good people, get around good coaches. I feel like that's the hardest part is just understanding because you're coming into the game not knowing much, not knowing what's right, what's wrong. So to understand early that you have a good coach, it's gonna be difficult, but try to get around somebody good, somebody knowledgeable, somebody that done it before. You know, a coach or a team that has a winning system, meaning that we have multiple fighters that's in the amateur circuit that's winning nationals, and just keep testing yourself. Always come up and test yourself against the best. Try to fight the best, and yeah, that's my advice I give to any young fighter coming up.
That's what's up. That's what's up because a lot of these kids, they can fall through the cracks and the pitfalls of the city life and stuff like that. Um, and I tell everybody, yo, as a boxer, we can't do this on our own. You need a good team behind you. You need good people sometimes in them days when they see you doing a little, grab you by your ear and pull you back this way. You'll thank me later for that, type shit. And not all of us have that. So it's good that um kids have role models and some of the athletes that they do look up to hear them say these kind of things. You know what I mean? To
Yeah,
give them the belief and the hope that they can do it too. You know,
right.
because that was my thing. When I saw um Mike Tyson or Sugar Ray Leonard or Hector Camacho, they look so big to me. They, to get where they were at in my head, I never thought I could make that fighting in the boys club. I never thought that the boys club would lead me there. Yeah, I was led astray. I didn't have that team, and I fell through the pitfall. So that's why I bring things like that up, and I like to see young men like you right now, staying the course, staying focused, and uh Cosmicado there told Tyson, he told him, he said, "You'll be the greatest champion in the world if you stay focused and keep your nose clean from everything." Once he died, Mike went, so it's important to stay focused. It's an ugly sport. It's a very ugly sport. And so talk to me. What are some of the big fights and some of the fights you got in mind or that you're looking to see or any fight that is coming up, whether it be Saul or the Jake Paul or any of these fights that are coming up right now. Are you excited for any of these fights, or is there anybody you're waiting to see?
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited for the Terence Crawford versus Canelo. I'm definitely excited. I'm excited for all the big fights. The even the one after the MJ and in the way. I'm excited for that fight.
Yeah.
Just I just like watching good boxing. I like watching skillful people, skillful individuals get in the ring and showcase their talent. So I'm a student of the game. I like to watch boxing at a high level. So like the high level chess matches, those are the ones that I tune in for. Um, and every now and then, like if it's a hype match, I'll definitely tune in for it too. But those like the Saul and Terrence, Anyway, MJ, um, like those the
What
big
about
fights.
Devin Haney? What about Devin Haney choosing Brian Norman Jr.? Do you think that was a smart
Yeah,
career move? Do you respect him for that? Coming off the criticism he's getting out of that Jose fight and the Ryan, or what do you think in at this point
yeah,
of his career?
yeah. Devin, he been in the ring with a lot of great champions. Been in the ring with Loma. He's well rounded. People criticize him for his last fight. However, a win is a win. Nobody gonna really remember that how he performed. 5 years from now, they just gonna
Right.
see all that he beat Ramirez. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So, however he did it, he did it. A lot of people criticize him for it. I understand both sides of the fence.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting Brian Norman is just a testament to his character. He liked to be
Mm-hmm.
tested. He liked the good matchups in boxing, and he ready. He want to climb to the top. So, you know, that's definitely a great thing. A
Mm-hmm.
fighter looking to challenge himself, and shout out to Brian Norman too because that he could have saw the Ramirez fight and he probably not want to fight him, but still want
Right.
to challenge himself, show to the
Right.
people, show to the world that he's the better man. So
Right.
I feel like that's gonna be a great fight.
Yeah, and that's what's up because it's interesting to know how your peers at your job look at you. You know what I mean? Because you are working, and these are the guys you work with in and around this, the same business. And when I ask you about these things, is also learning curves, my man, Keith. When you watch some of these fighters go through these things, you may enter and encounter some of these things, and I'm just bringing them to your attention because that way you could be aware of some of these things, and noticing, yeah, that was the right fight to take. No, that kind of fight wasn't. He was talked into this decision, and it just comes with boxing. All everything, everyday learning in the sport. And let's see, who else we have here that is also boxing. Well, okay, there's David the Monster Benavides. He's going to be fighting Yard. Do you like that fight at all, or do you think David the Monster Benavides should have tried to push to fight for the titles against Bivol?
I feel like I feel like I feel like that'd be a great fight. Yard he he's skillful. He's been at the top, so like it's gonna be a nice test for David Benavidez. I feel like David Benavidez is gonna win, and I do want to see him against Bivol. I feel like him and
Mm,
Bivol, Benavidez, those would be like the top fights for him at the moment.
right.
So yeah, I mean I feel like first if he get Yard and then Bivol, that's perfect. I feel like that's
Mm,
great for his career.
right. Right. I like the Terence Crawford fight. I was working up to see if you would give me who you got in the fight. But before you do, I'll be honest. I like Terence Crawford in the fight. I think Saul's just too strong right now in his weight division. I think if any boxer in the world could pull something like this off, it could be Terence Crawford. I think
Yeah,
that I think I saw him at the New York fight. I was at the Berlanga, New York, at the tennis court. I was there, and I saw Terrence get up, and I was looking at him, and I was like, "Damn, that he's big as hell." And I was like, "Wow." Um, then I saw him in another video. I saw he's all ripped and shit, and I'm like, "But there's weight divisions for a reason, Keith." You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we can get too cocky and we think that we can go up there and just beat anybody. Uh uh this ties into the Jake Paul Tank Davis shit. Tank Davis, my brother, is 5'5" at 135 pounds. Jake Paul is 6'1" at 190. My man, at a certain point, you're gonna be too big. And when I look at that for Tank, why ain't we looking at that for Saul and we asked him to give a little and maybe come down in weight? But Saul wanted it there. Terrence wanted it there for the 4 belts. That's what they wanted. I'm gonna rock with Terrence Crawford. I got my fingers crossed. I don't like the fight. I never liked it to fight. I don't think if Terrence Crawford loses, I think they cheated him for that O because they didn't beat him in a fair playing field. They didn't beat him at 147. They didn't beat him at 140. They had to drag him all the way up to 160 to beat him. I don't think that was right. So I mean, the money, you can't deny the money. And I know sometimes you build your career to this point. We are prize fighters. At some point in your career, you're gonna have to ask yourself that one question, Keith. Do I take the fight for the money?
Yeah.
Am I thinking life after boxing? Am I thinking about my family afterwards? I think that that's what Tank's doing right now. I can respect it, but like you said, and I said, he hasn't established himself just quite yet as like one of the kings anyway, I feel, in the sport of boxing. You know what I'm saying, Keith? So those are just my opinions, and I wanted to get some of your opinions on that, Keith. I like where you got your head on your shoulders. Uh I like the start that you're having in the sport of boxing, and I want to wish you the the best success. Um,
Thank you.
there are a few Puerto Rican fighters right now that have won titles and have lost. Is there any particular Puerto Rican fighter today that you look up to and you can say, you know, I I want to be like or mirror what his success is today?
Like current fighter.
Yeah, current fighter. Yeah,
Um, yeah, I like Collazo. I like Collazo a
right,
lot. I like Collazo. I like Amanda Serrano. Those two fighters got great skill. They fought their way to the top.
right.
Um, every person that was in front of them, they fought.
Yeah,
You can't really criticize either one of their careers so far, and I feel like they're a true testament to like hard work and dedication. So yeah,
right.
I say those two fighters.
Yeah. I like the Subria Matias fight against Alberto Puello. What'd you think about that fight?
I thought Matias won. I thought he
Yeah,
dominated. I thought he dominated the fight. Um, I was there. Watching it in person. So I was kind of shocked that they had it, as close as they did, but they had it pretty close. I thought that it was. I thought Sabir Matias dominated. I thought he won
yeah,
a lot of the rounds. I wasn't really counting round by round,
yeah,
but Puello he had success throughout the fights. He had a lot of good exchanges, but I
right,
felt like for the most part, Matias was just dominating him. He did what he wanted to do. He made Puello
right,
feel uncomfortable. He made his
right,
presence felt, and I feel like it was the right decision that he won.
right, right. I felt like when I was there watching it, I thought he won from round 2 to 8 straight. That's how I saw it to be. I don't know if I was being biased because I'm Puerto Rican and I was watching him, but I just really felt that uh I don't a lot of people was like, "Oh, Alberto Puello won the first 2 rounds." I was like, "Nah, I don't think so." And then Subir just took off for me. And like in the 8th round, he started to fade a little, but I thought he did more than enough to win that fight. And I think that the right man won that fight.
Right.
Let me talk to you about that smack with Subriel and Teal. What do you think about that?
Uh, from what I heard, Matias, he a real, he's not like a pushover. I feel like a lot of
Mhm.
people they mistake uh boxing talk and disrespect. It's a
Right,
difference when you say, like I feel like I'm better than you, cool. You feel like you're better than me, it's cool. But then when you
right,
get to like, disrespecting somebody, it's like that's not boxing no more, And I
right,
don't know the length of the conversation, but um I know for a fact, Matias, he's not going, just let nobody he's not that type of dude, just let somebody disrespect him. He's stand up guy, stand up principles and morals. So I feel like maybe something had to be said in the
mhm,
conversation,
right,
for him to,
right.
want to smack him up. But I mean he did he did what he had to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, John Paul Rivera fights tonight. I want to check out that fight. What do you think about him? Do you know much about him? Do you know
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
about?
I know John Paul Revere. I sparred
Oh,
him
you
when I
did.
was like, yeah, when I was younger in the amateurs. We had good work down in Florida. Um, he got a good opponent ahead of him, Danny Bailey. I'm also familiar with him in the nationals over
Wow.
here. So it's gonna be a great fight. I think the better man gonna win. You just
Let
gotta
me
wait and
ask you a
see.
question. Out of all the guys you've ever sparred, Can you would you be honest and would tell me who was the gave you the best work?
Yeah, I feel like the person that gave me the best work probably be his name Christian Cardo. He out in
Mhm.
Philly. Um, he
Okay.
fight like if I'm not mistaken, he fight like 118, 118, yeah, around there. But yeah, he's a sharp fighter, and he's out of the camp with Jerron Ennis. So for
Okay.
like what was it? For I think it was probably like my fourth or fifth fight. I was just going up there every week to get work, going up there every week to get
Mm.
work. But yeah, nah, he's a good fighter. I feel like he was the one that I had to keep adjusting to. I had to keep adjusting.
That's
I had to really like use a lot of my tricks on him. So that was great work
right.
though.
He made you think, huh? He made you think. He made you, you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Step
yeah,
up to the next level, right?
yeah. He made it was just more so he brought the best out of me, so to say. Like
That's what's up.
you're gonna have different fighters, but some fighters just gonna bring the best out of you. Whether they
Hmm.
gonna keep pushing you or whether they just it's just depending on the styles. So I feel
Yeah.
like yeah, I feel like he was the one that just brought the best out of me.
I'm thinking about that too because I got a fight too coming up on Border Wars. Coming out of retirement, and Keith, right? So Ness got this little Border Wars thing and shit. So you know, OG just want to come out and test the waters a little bit. You know what I mean? So I think about that because you know, sparring and bringing the best out of you and getting that fire back lit and fighting people that are better than you. Not always sparring people that you can come in and kick their ass. You're not going to learn anything. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I asked you that. You know what I'm saying, Keith? Well, Keith, thank you for coming by, man, Keith. It's always been a pleasure talking to you. I can't wait to see your next fight. I'm real curious to see who they're going to put in the ring with you. I've already heard the rumors behind the scenes. There's already people ducking you. You're coming out strong. You got 100% knockout ratio, and the skies are the limit, Keith Colon. Can you let the fight fans know where they can find you and on your social media platforms, please?
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Instagram or find me on Instagram at official Keep Cologne, and also on YouTube for like any behind the scenes. If you missed the fight, you can always go back on YouTube and watch the fights, the behind the scene footage, the week recaps, whatever it may be. I just want to say thank you for having me on your platform as well.
Absolutely, man. You're always welcome here. I always want you to stop by because when you become world champion, I know you send Vic Season a shout out and everything. You ain't said round ones yet. I'm not gonna hold you to that. But when you win that world
He was
title,
in
I
the
want the
chat. He was
first
in the chat,
interview. All
man.
right, all right.
Got you.
Hey, yo, Keith, man. Thank you for stopping by, man. It's always a pleasure. Everyone, Keith Cologne.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Keith. Peace. I got you. Woo! Man, that is a promising young man right there. Um, you know, it's it's interesting to see him come up when you watch these fighters come up young, and you really get to see the beginning of their career. That really, it makes me interact with them. To the point where that you just you see them coming up, and you're just like, man, you see all the potential and you see everything that the possibilities of your fighter. Same thing I thought of a lot of these fighters like Tank, and he's not really there, but hey, it is what it is. This kid right here, Keith Cologne right here, you know, I'm not rushing him. He's got all the time in the world. I like how they're managing him. They're bringing him along well. He's you know what I like the most about watching Keith Cologne? You guys really want to know what I like the most about him? That every time I see him, the next time I see him, he's a better version of himself. He's even that much better. That's what I like to see about young fighters. To tell you the truth, you can see when something's wrong with your fighter or they're out pissing around, staying in the party too long, and they come out in their next fight, all of a sudden, they're not moving the way they should be. They're not responding to the speed of the fight. And you can tell. And sometimes the fan doesn't want to be honest with themselves. Oh, he just had a bad night in the office. No, you know what you saw. You know exactly what you saw. You know what I mean? The undisciplined. Because within this sport, there's a lot of distractions. And sometimes distractions come with a set of titties. You feel me? And you got to know how to balance this. You know, it's not time to settle down and play house right now. I got a career. And 10 years in boxing goes by like that. 20 to 30, you're already 30. I'll play house later with a bag full of money. You know? But I like this kid right here, Keith Cologne. I think he's really special. I think he's well polished. Like a lot of good fighters that are coming up. The division that he's in is very interesting. You know, I'm not sure if some of the guys will still be there while he's climbing up. But they better not. They better leave. You know what I'm saying? Because he's coming up the ladder. You know, and I just think that he could have a potential of a long, good career. His statue, you know, he's not as, you know, like real big for a man. He's like 5'6". So I don't expect him to go all the way up to 154 or anything like that, you know, but I do expect him at some point to get into the glamour divisions at some point in his career. The 126, you're like just under the glamour division. The glamour divisions start at 130, 130, 135, 140, 147, sometimes 154. And there was good middleweights at one point in time. The 160 was like on fire, right? But that soon went away. So it's usually from the 130 to 147. That's the best divisions in boxing right there, right? And then the heavyweight division is the glamour division. That's where all the eyes go to, heavyweight division, right? But 130 to 147 is where speed from 105 and all the power from heavyweight, and it meets at the perfect weight. That's where speed and power and the humans are the most skilled in those divisions right there. That's why they're the glamour divisions. Because under 126 like that, they consider you still little and not a lot of power comes from those divisions. Once you start moving up, now your guys are starting to crack, but they still have all their movements and they're the fastest fuck boy. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think that Keith Cologne is in a great, great situation. Floyd Mayweather started his career at 130. Look where he ended up like that. And Naoya Inoue started too small. And Oscar Collazo and them, they like Keith said, yo, Oscar's a phenomenal fighter, bro. That little dude can fight. Unfortunately, he's way down there, and a lot of people don't know about him. And their weight division got like 100 fighters in it. Their weight division is not packed with like 1,000 fighters. No, it's not. So it's very terribly easier if you got the skills to dominate down there, and that's why these guys don't want to take it serious. You see, Naoya Inoue started coming up, and I thought that he had the star power to bend the needle. Meaning, if Naoya Inoue entered 126, he would make that the new glamour division. He has the star status and enough power behind him to pull it from 130 to 126 and make 126 a fucking glamour division. That's how powerful Naoya Inoue is. And Keith Cologne, another young fighter right here, starting off his career. You know, no one ever knows when you're ready to take that opportunity. Sometimes opportunities will fall in your lap. Young man, Keith Cologne, you always got to be ready for your opportunities. Because today you could be 7-0. Tomorrow you could be 10-0. And the next day you could be getting called for a title fight that someone got hurt. They need somebody. Guess who's ready? Guess who's there to take opportunity? Huh? You never know. Devin Haney was in the right place at the right time for what he got. And he took the fights and he won. So in boxing, you need to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. When they ask you, yo, you ready to take this opportunity on 10 days' notice? Sometimes you got to take it. Sometimes these people take it a 10-day notice knowing they're coming off their couch. That's why they lose. But Keith, whether you got to fight, don't got a fight scheduled, stay in that motherfucking gym, bro. Remember what got you here. Remember everything boxing has given to you and everything you've given to boxing. Don't allow the little bit of buzz or the distractions get to you where then now you want to go out and hang out with your favorite rapper, favorite movie star. No, my man. You could do that later. They'll still be there. Right? Stay the course. Stay the course. Remember what's going to get you there. Remember, keep your eye on the prize. Don't be me. Don't be me. I swam the entire ocean and I drowned at the shore. The entire ocean I fucking swam, bro. And my dumbass drowned at the shore in knee-high water. All I had to do was stand up. I drowned. Yep. Because I fell for distractions. I fell for the quick money. I fell for the lamplight. I fell for all that shit. Yeah. All of a sudden I thought I wanted to be fucking Scarface. You know, and I didn't know that, you know, the world was setting me up. I didn't know without the proper role models in my life, and I didn't make the best decisions. And Keith Cologne is right. You need to surround yourself with the right people, you know, so to block bullshit, man. When shit comes, you know what I mean, your way. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Yo, Funline, why don't you hop on? Why don't you hop up? Let's talk a little. Oh shit. Man, I got a little nervous today because I'm like working with this new system, and I was scared to press the button when I was talking to Keith. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know it. I was sweating because I just Frontline, you saw it. You know me, you know, we talk on our phones and stuff. So you actually see my setup. So he was watching me set it up yesterday. So I got the setup and I'm learning how to press the buttons and shit. I even got this screen on. I don't even know how to get out of this. I think if I press this one, it'll get me back to my TV, I think. Oh shit, no, right? No. See, I don't even know how to get out of this because I changed the format of like everything. Yeah, I did. But that's what's up, man. I'm learning. I wish I had access to the WhatsApp app group. Of course, you can have access. What's up? Yo, what's up, buddy? How you doing? What? Where the fuck is the? I can't even get this. Koki. Wait a minute. Hold on. All right. I guess I could do that. Yeah. What's up? What's up, bro? You there? Oh yeah. What up, Fortnite?
What's
Hold
happening?
up. What's up? Hold on one second. I'm trying to learn this everything here real quick. Anyway, I think I got it. I think I got it. Yo, Frontline, you know how I was setting up the new screen with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
TV?
yeah.
I was connecting everything yesterday. So I got everything like hooked up right, but it's a little backwards than what I'm used to. You know what I mean? So yeah.
We got
What's up?
Rio's fighting Jones right now.
Is he?
Yeah,
Oh, what
it's
time is it? Oh shit, it's 7:12.
7:15.
Wow. 7:15. What's up, Yo,
Yo,
what's up,
what's up, Edwin?
bro?
How you doing? What's up,
How
Yo,
you
Frontline?
doing?
Goki,
Salute to Nado in the chat. Everybody hit the like and subscribe.
Goki.
Thank you.
Listen, you got you did you get the number the last time or no?
I couldn't get it because the phone I use here is not my primary phone,
I
and
got you.
I actually got into like a I don't want to say too much on the live, but I got into a situation. I'll probably tell you in private, but there's a reason why. There's a reason why I'm not doing it for no reason. But
That that
I'll
that
tell you later
video
though.
that video wasn't dropped because I think Edwin talked to you the last time about it. Is
I
that
forgot all about that shit.
No, because I know Edwin is busy though, because Edwin, like I already know, like one, you got like five different things to take care of. So
Oh,
I didn't
yeah,
I didn't even want to bother with that because Edwin had a lot of things to do. And
right.
but yeah, we'll talk
What
about
was
that
it? A
later.
bet
Yo,
with your sport?
that interview was dope. I'm glad you got Keith Cologne on because I think he's the next guy at 130 to I feel like he could be undisputed at 130 when
Yeah,
he goes up.
right, right. From 126.
Yeah, because
I
you know how everybody loves 135, everybody loves 140, everybody loves 154, but
right,
130 doesn't get too much love because you got the 126, 122. You
mhm,
got like a lot of names there, so I feel like 130. I think that could be his division. How do you
right,
guys feel?
right. Oh no, I think so. I think so. I think that sky's the limit for Keith Cologne. I don't think there's a lot of like I would say like okay, Navarrete, difficult, little difficult, awkward. You know what I'm saying? Foster, tall, long, but definitely beatable. Lamont Roach, I don't think will be there very long. I think he's getting other opportunities, and I think Dickinson has the interim. I think he's just gonna be elevated. Another potential guy that but like I said, I'm not sure. These are just the guys that are there now. By the time Keith Cologne starts to move up, I'm not even sure if a lot of these guys will be around,
Right?
like 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 the Bruce Carringtons of
Yeah,
the 126. I
yeah.
don't
As
he's
they
think
get
old?
that.
older, they go up in weight.
Bruce
Yeah,
already. He old. Bruce old already though.
Yeah, he's almost
old
like
as
what
hell.
29.
He's like 29, bro. He's not gonna. Yeah, I don't think Keith will ever meet up with
He
him.
Keith look comfortable. I mean, I don't know. That's a question that we got to ask
Mhm.
him. But he looks comfortable at 26. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
Yeah,
He
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
look like he struggles to make that weight. I know in the past he's fought at 30 as well. So
Mm,
that's a question for him to ask him. Like, yo, out of the fights you had at 30 and 26, where do you feel more comfortable? You know what I'm saying?
he should try to
right.
sneak it with Eddie Hearn and get that ball fight. I feel like he would go
He
give
would
Nick Ball some
outbox the
problems.
shit out of Ball.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
but
just not.
like to take a
He's
name
not
like that
ready
will
for
put
that
him
kind of
on.
pressure. I think he'll box Ball like even right now, but he's just not ready for that kind of pressure from Nick Ball. I don't think Keith can like keep Nick Ball off him all night just yet. I think that he needs to get just a bit stronger, Keith, and a bit more like confidence in his game because
Yeah,
you
Fuck
could see
that.
in every
I go for
fight.
my guy. Fuck that.
Yeah, you could see in every fight, bro, his confidence is going through the roof.
yeah.
Like I know he's like he knocked the dude out. He's acting cool. He's like another day in the office, right? But inside, I know there's a little boxer inside of him that's going crazy, you know.
He's the
And
kind of
but
guy he wants rounds. He want to get so like two,
yeah,
3 rounds, and like when you train, you be like, nah, I need to do another round. He's like
right,
that guy. He wants to get that extra round in. Yeah, I
right,
see him doing great things at 126 because here's my theory, right? I feel like if he
mhm,
goes to different markets, because the
right,
US, I feel like the USA, they're not gonna back him up. They're not gonna back him up
yeah,
like a Haney or like a Shakur.
mhm,
They're gonna alienate him a bit. I feel like because one, he's Latino, but like he's not like the Mexican Latino, and also
right,
he's not from like La Isla, so it's gonna be like he's
right,
gonna be in like that gray area. So I feel like if he goes to the UK and takes out a guy like Nick Ball, here's what happens. When you beat a UK guy, guess what happened with the UK fans? They follow you. They like you. They start being like, no, I like Keith Cologne. So if you could conquer, you ever play the game, what's that game, Quest? Or you take over countries and shit like
Yeah,
that?
you take over the yeah. War.
Yeah,
War.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like he goes to different countries, be like, yo, I'm gonna take that fan base, and I'm not his manager, but I feel like, the more he beat a Mexican guy, he beat a UK guy, and then now fans know about him because he got those markets, he puts himself on the map, and yeah, I want Espinosa, I want Ball, I want these guys to keep alone because I know he's young, I know it's gonna take time, but you know his pedigree, man. He wants to be that champion. He doesn't box like a brawler, like exactly. He doesn't do too much boxing. He's like a perfect hybrid, and I want to see him do it. Especially the way he conducted himself. He's very mature for his age.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I like. And that's why I like having him on my show, because when later on, whether they see it now or later, when people get to know him and they see these episodes and stuff, they're gonna see how he conducts himself in and out of the ring.
Yeah,
And when you look up to you have kids and you want to show them a fighter and you say, look up after that fighter right there, you know?
that's a good point.
And sometimes, you have these fighters, and I'm scared to tell the kids, look up to this guy, because all you see is the bling bling and the, let's smack bitches and drink and smoking weed. And, I'm not gonna tell my kids, look up to this guy. I'm like, look away, say
Yeah,
no to that. Like, and to the men and women that are doing it in and out of the ring the most professional way. The men like Terence Crawford, the men like Naoya Inoue, the men that you don't see in the news articles every week doing something or something crazy. You know what I mean? Shakur Stevenson, wasn't he there when Takeoff got shot in the head? Didn't he drive there with the guy that actually shot Takeoff in the head? Now, I don't know where you from. I'm from Newark, New Jersey. I was born in Newark, New Jersey. I was raised out in Boston. If we were together and you shot, man, they're gonna call, you know what, man? They're gonna call me your co-defendant. You know what I'm saying? We're both going to jail. So you drove there with the guy, and these are the kind of things these athletes put themselves in. Shakur didn't belong there. Some of these guys didn't belong in these situations. What was Tank doing in a limo hatchback? I mean a Lambo hatchback there, flying through the city, smashing into cars. And this is the shit I'm talking about. That our fighters, if we really love our fighters, and I love my Puerto Rican fighters, and anybody that's close to Keith Cologne, if you really love that kid, tell him to turn around and go back to the gym whenever you see him going the other way. Don't keep him at the party. Don't buy him another one. We spoiled our athletes so much that we hurt them. We hurt them. Smoke this, sniff that, do this. Yay, bang her. You know what I'm saying? And we thought we were doing the right thing in the 80s, but we killed our guys.
Yeah.
We did that to our
in the
guys.
80s, they were living off pure balls. They just kind of, went with cojones, and they're like, let's fuck it. Let's do some cocaine and fight.
Well, the difference
Bro,
between that era and this era now is social media.
Yeah,
Back
that's
then,
true.
back then,
bro, I
the only
actually saw basketball players on the basketball court driving sacks of coke on the court in the
yeah,
80s.
but these guys, these kids or this generation nowadays, they self snitch. They fucking post everything they fucking do, like they trying to get validated and shit. You know what I'm
Yo,
saying? Like
that's not
they
called
retarded.
snitching. That's not called snitching. That's
That's
called
hablando
hablando
claro.
claro. Hablando claro.
That shit crazy.
Yo, then they wonder. This is what they do. This is what they do. I shot that dude in the park last night with this 9. Yo, cuff him. Yo, dude snitched on me, man. Who was it? Bro, it
That's all
was
that.
you.
That's all that drill music, the new music these kids listen to. All that like they try to be
Yeah,
tough, be like, yeah, I'm going to report myself on this new song, and the police come to and raid their house.
Yeah, that
yeah.
shit crazy.
Yo, but
Kofi, I don't
you,
know. I don't know if you got something right now, but I put my number in the
I
private
got
chat.
you right now.
Mhm.
But yeah, that whole self snitch, and it's not even that. It's you got these kids that are trying to compete with other people who got better this, who got better that.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? It's like back in the day, it's like your competition was like whoever was around you.
right.
That's it. Like, yo, I dress better than you, or you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying?
No,
Or my
no.
girl
You know
look
what,
better than yours,
Frontline?
or whatever.
You want to know something, Frontline? Check this out, right? My my thing is this: that some of these kids are getting buzzes not from the amateur, from college, and some of these kids got like real big buzzes, and they're coming into these sports like right away, like have a big name and a big following, like a Ryan Garcia type shit. And sometimes that could be detriment. It could be bad because too much success too early to a young guy like that. You see, look, what happens is when you make more money than your father, the conversations change in your household. When you're the one that's buying the house or they're extending their hand and you're paying for it, even though you're doing it out of the kindness of your heart, you got to watch that because a human, the inner side of you, will betray yourself if you don't check yourself. They can turn two brothers on each other by saying,
Well,
"Hey, your brother's better than you."
money will do that
Unless
to
you
anybody too.
right, exactly. And money will do that to you.
Yep.
And
That's
and,
why
and
they
and
say
if you
money's the
don't
root of all evil.
if you don't know how to control that shit, if you don't know how to always stay humble and say, "No, I do that for my mom and dad because they're my mom and dad, they gave me life." Don't try to turn me on my family.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? They try to turn brother against brother, father against son
Yeah, all the time.
all the time. And some of these kids, when they grow and they get all that money, bro, it can get to your head as a young athlete.
I mean, look at
That's hard to
Berlanga.
manage. Yeah, bro. Berlanga
Yeah,
lost
but
his mind.
Belanga's not really like that. It's all for the cameras. The dude's
Yeah,
a humble.
well,
He's a humble dude behind the scenes. You get what I'm saying?
mm.
It's just for the
So you're
cameras.
saying he's Floyd Mayweather?
I don't
That's
know if
what you're saying?
I don't know if Floyd Mayweather's a humble dude or not because I never like followed his career
I
outside of
give
the
you,
cameras.
I could give you guys a story about Floyd. My friend, he's Dominican. He's from Michigan. He's like one of the few Dominicans that grew up in Michigan. So one
Mhm,
time he went to a nightclub, and the nightclub, Floyd was at the nightclub, and it's so crazy. He told me the story. He's like, "Yeah, I went up to Floyd. And I'm like, hey, you're a great fighter." And like a minute later, Floyd was like, "Get this guy out of here." He just kicked him out. I'm like, and I asked him, "Why did he kick you out?" He's like, "Nah." He just looked at me like, I don't know. But that's one story. I don't think fighters are perfect. Nobody's perfect, right? But if you're a
yeah,
fighter, I feel like you got to have flaws. You're not you're
mhm,
not a angel per se.
right,
But you
mhm,
could always be a humble, like Frontline mentioned. Berlanga's a humble guy. Yeah, he is. It's behind all the cameras and all that, like pressure.
mhm,
He does put on a gimmick. You could tell he does it, like with the way he talks. Like he tries to amplify like that New York attitude. He tries to make it
mhm,
like a gimmick, and it does sell. It makes him the villain. Because if he was humble, like Zayas, would he be popular? Would Zayas? What I'm saying? Because Zayas is like a humble kid, but like a lot of guys don't really, go to him and like, yo, like let's hear that
right,
Zayas press conference. It's more like the shit talkers that get the attention.
right,
So
right, right, right. And the reason why I bring up Floyd, right, because if you go back and you just watch Floyd carefully in his career, you're gonna notice a few things, and you're gonna be like, "Oh shit! Well, I never saw that." Um, Floyd Mayweather only busted out the gold chains and the diamonds when he had a fight scheduled, or when he was promoting a fight, or when he was at a fight for promoting some other fight. The only time Floyd Mayweather ever put on his jewelry, is when he was fighting, and whenever he talks shit, notice it was during a fight or building up to a fight. That's it. If you was to see Floyd Mayweather with his kids, with his family on everyday life, he'll have like a fucking expensive ass watch on, but he'll have like a thin ass chain like that. He doesn't look nowhere like the five freaking chain Floyd Mayweather flamboyant. That image he's always putting on line and everything. He don't do that. And then he's an asshole. Floyd's an asshole because I want to prepare you for this, because when you meet your idols, be careful, because they can be assholes because of his history. Floyd took pictures with people, and then the person turned around and said, "You suck," and blah blah blah, and there was always that, and he learned from that. You know what? Get him out of here, right? So one thing that Floyd did do that was pretty cool, he fought Hernandez, the 130-pound champion. Hernandez was undefeated at 130. He was Floyd Mayweather's idol. Floyd fought his idol. Floyd thought that Hernandez was the best fighter at 130. Floyd was the first person out of the Olympic team, out of his class, to fight for a world title. He beats Hernandez. Hernandez dies. Floyd Mayweather remembered that he was the first man that gave him a shot at a title. He paid for all of Hernandez's funeral. He paid for the services, everything. He gave Hernandez's mom, wife, and them money, and I think he sends them money like yearly or something to them, because of what Hernandez gave to, well, didn't give, but the opportunity he
He
gave to
gave him the
Floyd.
opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. And Floyd never forgot that. And some of these things, Floyd doesn't come out and saying, "Yeah, I did that." Some people won't know these things about him, but yeah, he's flamboyant. Yeah, I guess he could be an asshole at times. They say money will allow you to be the asshole you truly are. Because sometimes we don't say things to our boss or to people because we're going to need you. I'm going to need this job, right? But if I had $10 million in the bank, I'm going to tell you about yourself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Money makes you poke
So
your chest out a little bit.
yeah, it does. It does. It really changes you sometimes. I had a couple dollars one time. I thought I was rich. I had about $10, and and
Yeah.
that shit went. So yeah, but yeah, if you don't know how to, that's why I talk about all of this. You're gonna have to know how to manage these situations and not let these
By the
things.
way, guys, I wanted to. I know you guys got the news about Nicholas Floss fighting. He's gonna fight on Pro Box against Peter Pistol Pete Dobson,
Yeah.
the New York fighter who fought Conor Ben. I'm not sure if you guys remember Pistol Pete.
Yep.
I find this really interesting because I sparred Pete Dobson. Pete Dobson gave me some of the toughest sparring I had in my life, and this is a South Box by Eric Kelly. Eric Kelly's a trainer from New York. He has a funny video on YouTube. I've already sent it to you guys, where he bullies these like white guys in the gym. These like
Yeah.
Wall Street wimpy guys. He's like cursing them out. It's a hilarious video. He's a tough trainer, but
Mm.
I spar with Pete, and Pete is a big guy. He's a big 154, and they got him fighting at 147. And the thing is, I know Pete. Pete walks around 180. Pete is a big motherfucker, and Pete
Mm.
he's strong, and he's not a high volume guy, but when he hits you, you see the impact it does. He's a very strong fighter. I think he's the strongest guy that Nicholas Floss has faced so far. And I think just like you had Keith Cologne on the interview today, I think a great interview for you, Edwin, would be Nicholas Floss. He's a very
Mhm.
funny kid. He has a personality. He makes a lot of jokes. He takes the sport, real seriously. He's like that guy that you wanted. He didn't want the guy that goes to like the distractions. This guy is
Right.
focused. He's locked in. No
Mm,
distractions. He's like a monk. He's in
mhm,
that gym in and out every day. And Floss is my favorite 147 fighter. He's my favorite
mm,
fighter. But then he's facing a guy I got a lot of love for. Pete, that dude
mhm.
he's a great guy.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I hope both of them come out healthy. I hope both of them have
Yep.
a great show, and I hope both of them get better fights after this because they both deserve it. And I think it's a great matchup. And I want to know what you guys think. It's going to be, I think it's this month or October.
Yep.
I got to find the date, but I want to know what you guys think because I think Floss is one of the
Yeah.
guys that could get us a title. He could bring Puerto
Mhm,
Rico a title at 147. I have a lot of faith in that.
mhm. Well, right away, may the best man win.
Yeah,
Fair competition to both men, and I wish you both the best. But one of you got to win. And Nicholas Flores is one of the guys that not only myself, I hear a lot of people talking about him. Frontline loves him too. Frontline talks to me about him a lot. And they have high hopes for the young man. They have high hopes for him. And like you said, sometimes some of these fights are tough because you're like, damn, why did it have to be him? Like, why
yeah,
couldn't it be anybody else you was fighting, right? You know what I'm saying? Why did it have to
it
be
happens.
you? Like, you know?
you know,
And I've been in those situations as a fan and with my boys
I
and
remember,
shit, you know?
remember when Cotto fought Quintana. I was so mad because
Yeah.
like, yo, Quintana was one of my favorites. So like my southpaws, like I love Quintana. He was so good, and Cotto beat the hell out of him.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes, there has to be a winner, but it also it's good. These fights are good too because now it's gonna show who's gonna go forward,
Yeah.
who's ready for that next step.
Salute to
You know,
Darius Flowers in the chat. He said round one, salute, salute, salute.
salute, salute. Yeah, and I think Nicholas Frontline. Tell me, what do you think about that fight?
I got Flowers. Flowers is
Of course you do.
you gotta understand. I mean, I don't know much about Pistol Pete, Pete there, but Flowers Flowers got very high ring IQ. Flowers has pop. Flowers has patience. So that's what I'm saying. Like all this talk with Polanco against Flowers, I think Flowers outclasses Polanco. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
But
Polanco
talking
looks
about
sloppy.
yeah, Polanco's way
Mhm,
too sloppy for Flowers. Flowers is gonna tag him up all day long, all day.
mhm, mhm.
Um,
Well, I think respectfully, I've seen Polanco fight sharper. I think that Homeboy had him second guessing and looking awkward. I
I
gotta
think
give
Polanco for that fight, he was too focused on he. You notice he was doing all these interviews with Broadway Joel, and he was doing all these
yeah,
interviews talking about Matias, and
yeah.
in his career, he top ranked fighter. He wasn't doing that before. I feel
His
like that kind of threw. I'm not sure, but he looked sloppy last performance.
Yeah, well, no, I criticized his last performance. I 100% criticized it.
Yeah,
We all said it. We said it. I said, my man,
yeah,
but
he looked
we're
amazing
going
before that. I didn't know what happened.
yes. And I think it's because of what's his name? Who did he fight there? I can see his name in uh no
I'm trying to remember,
no
so I forgot.
yeah, it starts with an R. I forget his name. But um when he fought um Brian Norman Jr., the guy that Polanco fought, when
Yeah,
he fought Brian Norman Jr., he gave Brian Norman Jr. all that and more. He took him the distance like that. Like Brian Norman Jr. said he was hard to get a beat on, because the way he was leaning back,
Randall,
Randall Cobbs, right? So when he
I
went back
almost
like,
left.
or if I'm getting messed up, anyway, but Randall, right? He said that because Randall's style is like this. So what he's doing is he's inviting you to come in. You gotta overextend almost to get to him. And he's real quick off the trigger. That's where Randall had a lot of success. And Rohan Polanco, he was he he was like he made Rohan look jerky because it looked like Rohan didn't know where to place his punch. So it made Rohan look bad because I've seen Rohan sharper than that. And I'm not going to say that it's due in part to distraction because I right now, because now I'm getting to know who Hector Bermudez is, and he doesn't fuck around. Rohan lives in the gym. So it's impossible for me to think that he was fucking around and Hector was cool with that. So I know Hector had him in shape. It was just, we got to give credit to the other fighter, and he had him looking, like what the, you know what I mean? So learning curve for Rohan Polanco, perhaps learning curve, difficult fighter to adjust to, you know what I mean? Will he look better the next fight? We'll see. But
Hey Edwin,
yeah, go ahead.
those asking you, is Nets going live tonight? He said, I need that CYP in round one build up. LOL.
Yo, CYP, man, I'm gonna leave that dude alone, man.
Listen,
Because
man, look, CYP better leave you alone, man. Because I've seen CYP. I seen CYP fight. Listen, I got girls. I got 12-year-old girls from my gym who will piece up CYP. They'll piece them up. I promise you, they'll piece them up like 100 cuts around, bro.
yep, and look at this. CYP apparently was gonna fight at once upon a time OC the boss, and OC had called him out. But you see, the fight never materialized, and OC the boss had to take another fight, and he took one fight. Mind you, CYP is talking like he got 20 fights in. He got one fight. One fight. He's talking like he ran through everybody there. Okay. Then he didn't care about OC the boss. As soon as OC the boss lost, you know what CYP said? Go fight that dude or go fight that dude because I ain't fighting you because you lost. So I'm gonna go fight somewhere else. The minute, and I mean the minute, it was announced that OC the boss was gonna fight me and that round one sports talk was in it, bro, this dude became like an attention seeking whore. CYP. Yo, all he did was like jump in. Oh, phone call after phone call, just spending his money. Oh, Elwin, no, wait a minute. You weren't supposed to fight him. I'm supposed to fight him. And blah, 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 blah. And I'm
He
like,
really did that?
yeah, he did that. He said,
Nah, damn,
no,
that's sad, bro.
no, OC, you can't fight round one because you said you was gonna fight me. And round one, he needs to wait. And the whole chat is like, nope. We want to see OC against round one, right? And CYP is up there, and then finally, I let him talk, let him rant. Finally, I told him, yo, CYP, this is sad because you're actually campaigning to fight a dude all coming off of a loss. If you're claiming to be the best, why do you want to fight a guy coming off a loss? Shouldn't you fight somebody the other winner? To prove that, and matter of fact, you're 10 years younger than us. You're 10 years younger than OC the boss, and then you're 14, 15 years younger than me. So you're trying to call out us because we're having a good time and having a fight? I could see if it was like on some I'll fuck you both up type shit, just boxing. But this motherfucker started talking about Viagra, steroids, fucking. He was talking about our penises not getting hard at 50.
Wait, he's talking about
shit.
you?
Yeah, like.
Yo, Edwin, can I just chime in real quick? I just got to say this because I'm not on the boxing voice because Nets don't like me because I'm a Haney hater. But
yeah.
I do know I did see Border Wars, and the thing with CYP, right? You know what he got to live with for the rest of his life?
No,
he brought his
what?
woman. He brought his woman that he protects, that he pays for, that he takes care. This woman, he brought her to the fight just to see him quit. He has to live with that forever. He brought his girl.
No.
His girl was at the fight, and he
Why
quit. yo, he quit right in front of her. Like, yo, and for me, I'm watching this. I've been to gyms. You ever been to a gym and they're doing sparring, and the guy that's doing
Yeah.
sparring, he brings his girl over, and this guy gets, you've seen that before. You know what
Right,
that
right.
looks like.
Hundreds of
Yo,
times. Yeah.
CYP, no matter what he does, he could talk about you, he could talk about OC, he could talk about Ness. No matter what he does, every day he got to wake up and say, I quit in front of my woman. And that's it. You have nothing, bro. You have nothing. Like, that's your definition of your character right there. That,
Damn
you're a
cookie.
quitter.
You done gave Edmund some ammo, so hell, you'll see YP.
Yo.
Listen, that's why they banned me from there. Ness don't want me in there because last time I was on Ness, I was blowing Ness up for being a snitch. And I
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
blowing it up, but I got
Yeah.
banned,
Yeah.
and you know what happens.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But yo,
But
that dude's
look.
a quit, a no mas.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful to know. That's
Yeah.
beautiful to know because
Listen, yo,
you know.
Edwin. I may be a little more diabolical, but listen, if you show up to the fight and you get OC,
Yep.
I'm gonna try to find a way to find CYP's girl's Instagram, and I'm gonna just be like, yo, slide in Edwin's DM because Edwin is not gonna quit. Edwin's not gonna quit, and you want a second round. It's not just round one sports, it's round two sports, round three sports, round 12 sports. Yo, Edwin's gonna get it in, and then CYP's like, what happened to my girl? Why my girl talking Spanish? Why my girl
Yeah,
eating
yeah, yeah.
acapuria now?
Why he walked into the house, the TV's on Telemundo.
Yo, a Telemundo. Why my kids not? Who the fuck is Don Francisco? What's going on?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You're gonna have
yeah,
CYP
yeah.
hating Puerto Ricans for the rest of his life.
For the rest of his life. No, but he's a funny character because he comes in and he says all this shit and he makes all these things and he says to me and OC that we're old and that we're gonna go in there and we're gonna gas out. Then why the fuck do you want to fight us? Why is it that you yelling my name and yelling his name? You want to fight one of us, right? But yet you're taking shots like the way he's doing it is real distasteful. Had he just came up and been like, yo, I'll fight either one of you, blah, blah, that's basic boxing shit talking. We can go along with that. He went totally left and it started to piss me off. I started to get out of character and Edwin started to show up. I like to keep round one here, because round one's cool. You know what I'm saying? Edwin's a little, you know what I mean? You be seeing him work out. So yeah, man. I just felt like he was just trying to spread false shit about me and shit. And everybody knows I'm going on the 25th. I'm gonna get this physical pass, and we on and popping. We on our way to fucking Atlanta, Georgia, bro. That's our next stop. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing this because I'm being paid. I'm not doing this because I'm being forced. I'm not doing this because they talked me into it. I went there because I wanted to pick a fight on the show on TBV. I went there because I found out about Border Wars. And I was like, what? And I was just sitting there every day, like twiddling my fingers, just waiting for somebody to call me out. I didn't want to be that guy, be like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to fight. But as soon as they did, I was going to let that crazy motherfucker out, and they did. And I'm happy. And this is something I want to do. You know what I mean? This is something I want to do for me. I'm not the toughest motherfucker in the world. I'm not doing this for legacy. I'm not doing this to prove that I can beat up anybody. No, I'm doing this for fun out of the love of boxing that I have for it. Truthfully, I can sit here and say I don't care if I win, lose, or draw, but the competitor side of me is gonna want to win all day, every day, twice on Sunday. So that's how I carry myself. But this is truly just because I want to do it and I want to challenge myself. It might be one and done. Even if I win, it might be one and done. I don't know what you guys think I'm going to go in my career at 51. Like, where was I going to go? So I'm preparing for one good night. I told my wife I got one good fight left in me. I'm about to give it to OC. You know what I mean? And I just want everybody to tune in and watch the fight, man, and cheer me on, bro. And I hope to bring us the win, bro. I hope when we talk here on November 9th or 10th, we got that belt around our shoulder. and we bring it back home, and that's what I'm looking to do, guys. That's exactly what I'm looking to do, so yeah, guys, man. What's they say over there? Just remind CYP he is a what? A sprinter, so he is. Yo, I just heard. Um, Koki just told me he quit. I didn't know that about CYP.
Well,
He
did
quit in
you see
front of
the
his
fight
girl.
between him and other dude?
No, when was this?
I gotta. All right, yo, frontline. I'm gonna link you so you can link Edwin, and then
Right,
he could see this. So next time he's on the
right,
the boxing voice, he'll be like, "Look, bro, I've seen you. I've seen what
right.
because
Yep.
for me, man, like if you're gonna talk that much and you
My
talk
man
every
talking
day
like
for
a
like
killer.
yeah, and then he talks a lot. So before this fight, I remember he was talking the whole time that he was gonna win and he's gonna knock this dude out and to quit like that, man. I didn't need to see anything else from the boxing voice. I was like, I'm good with the boxing voice. I've seen everything now. I've seen a grown man quit in front of his girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I
That's
got I got too much
beautiful.
machismo in me to even think about that shit, bro. I will fucking die. I'll be like, bro, kill me, bro, because I ain't waking up like this shit.
I'd rather get knocked out. Be like, look, baby, at least I got knocked out. I couldn't do anything else. You know what I mean? Right? Right?
Yeah,
Hey, what you want me to do? I was knocked out.
bro.
But you quit and you said no mas. And
Yeah.
that's the girl that you brag to every day how tough you are. You
Yo,
can
Edwin,
imagine.
I've had a pro boxer knock the fluff out my headgear, knock the
Yeah,
fluff out. You know the cushion part. It
yeah,
came
yeah.
out my headgear. Se explotó. Like it just exploded.
Yep.
And a friend of my ex, and
Mhm.
I didn't take a knee. I didn't go down.
Right,
I hit that motherfucker right back. I'm like, let's go,
right,
motherfucker, because
right.
and I don't know, man. I just think some guys are meant for fighting. Some guys
Yeah,
are built
some
for
guys are
fighting,
built for
and
this.
CYP is not that guy. You could tell, like, he's been
I
in
thought
fights.
this dude was a
No, but bro,
killer.
you could tell he's been in fights that like
I
last for 3 seconds. He's never
yeah,
been in a fucking 3 minute war. Like he doesn't know that second gear, that second wind. When you like
right.
gotta find that, you gotta find yourself again. He doesn't got that shit. And
Mm,
and I feel like a lot of guys don't over there. But for you, I
right,
just hope there's like
right,
that noise, and keep your training going, and pretend like your fight is tomorrow every day. Every
right,
day you
right,
wake up, be like, I got to fight today. I got the fight tonight, and you got to catch up with all the shit
yeah,
that you didn't do. And for me, that's the
right,
best way to go about it. You think about, yo, that fight is tomorrow, Saturday night. Everybody's gonna be watching me enjoy it. They're gonna chant round one, round one, round one, and
yeah,
this is what you own.
Hey, Koki, I got
right,
a
right.
question for you, right?
Yeah.
Because you work with the human body. So now Edwin's got a private trainer that is gonna show him how to do footwork with a hula hoop.
Shut up, Frontline. Shut the yo,
Wait,
Frontline.
am I missing?
Yo,
Am I missing
dude, stop
something?
that. No, check it
He
out.
got
No,
he
no,
hired a belly dancer for I don't know.
no,
I
check it out.
guess I guess I
My,
guess the
my
hula
man,
hoop gives you that movement in order for you to be able to move
your
your
waist.
your head side to
Yeah.
side and
No, it
Yeah.
helps. It helps, getting your feet
It,
in and out.
it
You
actually
want to
does. It
look.
actually does. But it was just funny. And Frontline was like, yo, I would pay anything to see you hula hooping right now, going like this. Yo,
Coming
because
to
he
the
was
ring like
cracking
that.
up.
Nah, but
Yo, he was, yeah. I was like,
yeah,
yo,
hey,
Frontline, but it's
footwork,
just,
footwork in boxing is all about
yep,
planting those feet. If you can get those feet out of position, get them planted again, and then get out of range and plant them again. That's what boxing is. You want to plant those feet in, and have the footwork right. So depending on how many how you're going to set up your punches, it's like those feet are going to lead you. Those feet are going to
you
lead you
know
to where
what?
you want to go.
You know why Puerto Rican guys and Latin people are so good with footwork? Because of salsa music and shit like that.
Yeah,
Because they're always like, like flicking their feet and sliding and
bro, we
stepping,
could take it to
ballroom
salsa. We
dancing
could take
and
it to
salsa.
mambo. We could take it to
Yeah.
breakdancing. We could take it to '70s. Remember the breakdances? Most of those breakdances were boricuas.
yeah.
Yo, yeah, New York. But it's like a lot of Latin guys, they're like, like salsa's like a real romantic. If you could dance, I seen them dudes that can move them. I hate them guys. You know why? Because I can't dance. I got two left feet, and they always be taking all the girls. You know what I'm saying? Them dudes that can really like go. Like my brother-in-law is one of those guys. Like he gets in the dance floor, bro. He dances with everybody's girl, bro. He's spinning like three girls at the same time. Dude, so nice. You know what I mean? I'm sitting over here like hating, like, damn, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never learned how to dance, you know? I was too tough when I was little. I was like, I ain't dancing. Fuck that. Yeah, yeah. So, but you just said that. And when you said that about the hula hoop and everything, I thought about Vasily Lomachenko. I thought about his father taking him out of boxing and putting him in ballroom dancing. What is ballroom dancing? Salsa. That's exactly what it is, but with a twist, and you have a little bit more style, but it's actually the waltz. The waltz
Calmempo,
is
Brody's
salsa.
footwork is garbage because he's Cuban. He ain't Puerto Rican.
And he can dance. And he can dance. You know, but yeah, but a lot of guys like Vasily's dad took Vasily and I guess put him in ballroom dancing for like 5 years or something to get
Usyk too.
footwork.
Usyk too.
Oh yeah?
A
Really?
lot of those Ukrainians. That's what they do.
Yeah,
They do a lot of
yeah.
ballet and ballroom
Well,
dancing.
you know why though? Because the Russian style of fighting, the Ukrainian, the Russians, all those guys, I'm putting them all in a hole, right? Um, their style of fighting entails rhythm. They bounce off the top of their feet in and out like this. The Russian style. That's the Russian style of fighting. That's how they fight. If you see Vasily, he bounces like this. If you see Demetrius Bivol, he bounces like this. If you see all the top Usyk, all the top Russian fighters, the Kazakhstan, they all of them. Look at their feet. They all fight the same way. They might up their upper top is different, but their footwork, what they like to do, Russian fighting, they keep their hands loose and down by their waist. They like to fight like this, a lot of them. And then Usyk is a more disciplined one. He keeps his hands up like this. Vasily's dad won't play that. But when you got like guys like the guy that fought Tim Tszyu, what's his name? Bakram? That knocked out Tim
Back,
Tszyu?
backroom, yeah.
Him. Yeah, he fights like that. Like that. That's the Russian style. He pulls it off the best. That's and you know, because I study styles and uh trust me, that's the Russian style. The American slick style, you got the Mexican style, you got the Filipino style, you got the Japanese style. I've always asked myself that. What does he do different than this guy? What is they why are they successful and what makes this one not good for this? Those are the questions I always ask myself. That's why I study the fighters. And it's funny that you say that about Usyk, that his dad put him in the dancing shit, and I already knew that about Vasily because I heard his dad say it in an interview. But that is boxing Russian style. And then the sambo wrestling is their wrestling. That's the Russian. It's the sambo one. It's not like Roman Grappling wrestling. They got a different one for Russians. The Russians, even their ballet is different. The women in their ballets, they take that shit serious too. But I don't know, man. I don't know why Russian people want to go out, kill people, come back and watch ballet. I have no idea. I have no idea. Why do Latin people, Puerto
I could tell
Ricans
you
in
guys why
general,
the Russians do that. I'm sorry.
why do Puerto Ricans go out and shoot you and go to church on Sunday and
Uh,
have Jesus in their living room and you can't even swear in their living room, or if you do anything in secteria, anything in secteria, these motherfuckers will drag you out, but they are ruthless. But somehow they're just like these praying freaking, you know, like religious people that will just kill you. And I found that funny, funny. Like a lot of Latin people got a Jesus in their house, but they're going outside blowing your brains out. Like, yo, it's crazy. What were you
Hey,
saying about Russian?
no, I was gonna say for you guys, when USSR and Soviet was, the whole Cold War thing. I'm not sure you remember, but in the '60s and '70s, physical education was a lot different in the United States compared to now.
Yeah.
Now physical education is very soft. A lot of kids don't have to climb the rope. They don't got to
Right.
run these miles. They don't got to do as many push-ups as they used to do back in the day. So, and that's because kids felt like this is too hard. It makes me feel bad. While in Russia, they had these kids advance, not only doing stuff like that, but at 5 years old, every kid in Russia is doing gymnastics, boxing, ballet. Not only that, not only the physical stuff, the theoretical stuff, motor learning. Motor learning is learning how your body mechanics work. They're learning about anatomy and physiology at a young age, and that's why like guys like Lomachenko and these Usyk, that's why they move like that. Because from a young
Right.
age, they understand the mind body connection. When you work out, remember Edwin, when you work out in the morning, you talk to your biceps.
Right.
That's a real fucking method. You have to do that. Because
Right.
sometimes what happens is like if you ever go to the gym, you go to Planet Fitness and you see like a
Mhm.
fucking Dominican that works at T-Mobile with a big chest, looks like Johnny Bravo, right? No legs.
Mhm.
He does chest
Mhm.
every day. In my field, we call that, you know why we call it dumbbell sometimes? Because
Yeah.
dumbbells are dumb. Because
Right.
dumbbells, you're just moving one way. You're not
Right.
making that dynamic too often, so you're just doing one motion. As opposed, because I've seen you work out, you do a bicep curl, then a shoulder press. You'll
Yep.
mix it up.
Mhm.
You're not just training one muscle.
Right.
And these guys in Russia, Ukraine, and they learn that. They learn to treat the body
Right.
as one unit, and they learn
Right.
about the anatomical and the terms. A lot of them are very smart scientifically. They know all their science, and they teach them from a young age. Whereas in
Right.
the United States, they're like, no, that's too difficult. We're not going to give that to
Right.
them, because I worked in the phys ed department. I was a phys ed teacher in the Bronx, and they told
Mm.
me what I was giving them was too hard. I had a boxing bag in the fucking gym. Imagine how hype that was. They're like, no,
Right.
we can't. That's too much. So what I did was I started a boxing club at the high school, but you had to keep your grades up. If you
Right.
didn't have an 85 and up, you couldn't be part of the boxing club. And these
Right.
fucking kids were dying because they wanted to get the gloves on, they wanted to do the pad work, they wanted to hit the bag, and they got the grades up to join it. You got to give these
Mhm.
kids like incentive to like want to be something. But if you're not giving them the tools at an early age, they're gonna see exercise as a punishment. So
Right. 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 And the
Yo,
reason why
Alex.
Rolly's footwork is so trash, he's Americanized.
yeah,
He
Alex
wasn't
Rios
born
won.
over.
yeah.
He wasn't
Naldo
born over
Nieves
there.
said Rios won. He won.
He won.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an upset because he was the underdog.
Oh yeah.
Nice. That's good shit. That's good shit. So, guys, I'm gonna cut this one right here short. I'm gonna watch the rest of these fights, and I have to go downstairs and interact with the rest of the family. You know what I mean? So, fight fans, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for Keith Cologne for stopping by, um, talking boxing. He's a very talented young man. I encourage you to check him out on his social media platforms and stay following him. Like he said, he's always putting up clips of his training and everything. And this is one of the young men that we should get behind and support and show him that we're behind him. So, fight fans, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button. I invite you to become a Round One Sports Talk member. Frontline, Coqui, it's always a pleasure. Corillo,
Yo,
you
much
guys are the
love,
best.
Edwin. You the
You
man.
got it. Catch
Salute
y'all on the next
Frontline.
one.
Salute Edwin. Everybody hit the like and subscribe. Become a member and follow the man to the victory. He's gonna knock out OC. It's gonna be
Oh,
over, bro.
yo,